Hey guys, or 1 through 4 here, and I've got another deck profile for you guys. My usual locals wasn't having a tournament this week or for a couple of weeks while the owner takes care of some personal things. So I went to a different locals this week, and I found out that a lot of people that a lot of the better players that normally go to my locals went to this tournament as well. I didn't do really that good because the entire tournament was essentially like top 8 at one of my normal tournaments, and like I ended up facing probably 2 games were against Gravekeepers, and that was the worst matchup for playing Synchro. So I lost those games. They were pretty close, but it just was a little. It's the biggest problem I have with Plant Synchro. Once they start slowing down, it's hard to pick up speed again. And then I lost to Agent Angel just because that deck is fucking ridiculous. The sheer fact that it didn't get hit at last ban list just baffles me. It clearly does well. I mean, he went first turn. Second turn. He played Earth, got his Venus. I took out the Earth. The next turn, he trished and then dropped Christia, and I just lost because I couldn't get around that. It's ridiculous. That deck needs to get hit in some way. I mean, the deck works exactly like it's supposed to work. It's just they didn't hit a deck that needed hit. It needs to be balanced out. But anyways, here's the deck. It's specifically the name we've given it is Storm Synchro. Its face focuses more on winds and stuff, and it's actually based off of the design that my teammate Drew made, but I changed a little bit for to add a Tech Genus engine in it, just because I like Tech Genuses and I don't have tour guides, so the deck is a little bit differently. It's also supposed to have a Max C in it, but I couldn't get a Max C before the tournament because nobody seems to have them. It's really annoying. But anyways, here's the deck list. 1 Lone Fire Blossom. Pretty standard for the plant engine. Dandelion. Spore. Glow Up Bulb. And then I'm running 1 Mystic Tomato to help with my specials, since I don't have tour guides to do the tour guide play. Also, this card is really good because you can yoink out your Sandgan or your Warwolves, and plus removing this with Spore makes it a level 5, which gives you easier access to 8-star synchros. I really like it. Next, of course, you got yourself 3 Reborn Tengus. You know, it's Tengu, and it's a wind, so that's what, it helps with some of the tech cards in here that I'm not completely sure on, but they're still neat. Next, you got yourself 2 Effect Veilers. Great card, puts lights in the graveyard, it's a tuner. It's Effect Veiler. You understand why it works in this deck. 1 Sandgan to search out whatever you need. Then you got 2 Thunder King Ryos to add a stun element, plus they're 1900 beaters in light, so it does a lot of damage to certain decks. You drop this down, they gotta play around this Ryo. So much better than Steel Swarm Roach. That card is so overhyped. But it's not like the worst card in the world, but Ryo does everything Roach does and more, and is better. Next, you got yourself 1 Debris Dragon. Debris Dragon isn't as important in this deck as it could be because it's only a 1 and you rarely draw it. So, but when you do get Debris Dragon, it lets you do a lot of cool plays. Then there are 2 Rise of the Storm Monarchs over Caius, because Ryza puts things back, to people back a turn, and I think, in my opinion, it puts things back a turn a little bit more than what Caius does, because banishing a monster or a card, yeah, it's good, and it can do damage if you hit a dark, but remove from play is a relatively easy zone to access, especially with Leviair floating around. This card sticks a card on top of your opponent's deck, which means they're either drawing a card they don't need next turn, or you're completely getting rid of a Synchro monster, they gotta resync it. I really like it. Next, you got yourself 2 Tech Genus Strikers, Special, Tech Genus, Tuner, good card. And then, what's really important in this deck is the 3 Tech Genus Werewolves. They're level 3, Dark. They're special summonable by Tomato. Anytime someone special summons, you get, level 4 lower special, you drop this. Lets you do easy Xyz summons. Lets you do some easy shenanigans. Like, I'll go play Lone Fire Blossom, special Dandelion, special Werewolf, overlay them into Leviathan Dragon, detach Dandelion. Dandelion still gets its effect because it doesn't have to be sent from the field to the graveyard, it just has to go to the graveyard. You're left with a 2500 beater plus 2 tokens to deal with. It's a great card, a great combo. 1 Gores, because Gores saves games, and 1 BLS, because he's broke as hell. The one guy that was there was like, I don't understand why BLS is so broken. Gores is better. Gores is a good card, but you can't compare Gores to BLS. BLS is retarded. It breaks games. Once you get BLS, it just makes everybody hate as long as you play smart. Granted, like if you're dropping BLS when you got like 3 back row, then you're just an idiot and you deserve to get your BLS lost anyways. But onto the Magics. Got 1 Reborn. Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, Book of Moon, and then you got yourself the double MST, your usual staple stuff. Then you got 1 1-for-1, great card in this deck, Mind Control, then a tech card, Quill Pen of Guldos. I'm not exactly 100% sold on this card, because sometimes when you draw it, it's dead. But it's just something I was fiddling around with, and I was using this one in Dragunity because it's neat and they're all wins. And then my teammate was like, "Oh, this is cute in this deck," and then like he ended up changing his around a bit. And I think I'm not gonna use, if I ever use this deck again, I'm not gonna use Quill Pen. You target 2 wins in your graveyard and 1 card on the field, so on either side. You return the wins to your deck and bounce the other card. So you put 2 Tengus back in, bounce a card. There's a lot of wind synchro monsters. It's a neat card. It's not the worst card in the world. I'm just not sure if it's great. Then of course you got your 1 Pot of Avarice. Scapegoat. This card is busted as hell. Like, got this thing face down. When they're attacking, Scapegoat, you get 4 tokens to defend you. They're all 1-stars. Sure, you can't tribute them for tribute summons, but you can sync with them, and you can tribute them for the next card. Double Enemy Controller. Like, there's nothing worse than tributing one of your Scapegoat tokens, stealing your opponent's monsters, and either syncing with them or trapping their monster as an overlay unit. It's great. That's the Magic lineup. Trap lineup. 1 Torrential Tribute. Got yourself the double warning and judgment like usual. 1 Trap does shoot because hand is really important in this format. And then 1 Starlight Road so that you can protect yourself. That's the main deck. On to the extra deck. You got 1 Leviair, the Sea Dragon. A lot easier to use when you have tour guides, but it's still pretty easy in this deck because of the Werewolves. Lets you bring things back from out of play. Plus it's a wind, so you can use it with Quill Pen. Then 1 number 17 Leviathan Dragon. It's a great card. 1 number 39 Utopia. Every time I go for rank 4, I'd rather go for him than go for Roach. He's just better. He's 2500. He's a light. He's a beater. And, like, he's just hard to get around sometimes. Sorry, I'm just noticed that I can mess with the Whatever. I can mess with my camera. It's a new phone. I'm just still getting used to it. Then you got one Formula Synchron, Armory Arm, one Hyper Librarian, still a busted as hell card sometimes, but it's a lot more balanced now that you have only one of them. One Ally of Justice Cataster, one Brio, pretty much just staple. Then there's one Orient Dragon. This card is so balanced and so good. Like there are so many times where like I was going for Brio just to get rid of a Synchro monster, like bouncing Stardust, and it would cost me a card in my hand. Now I can go for Orient Dragon and just banish the hell out of him. Plus he's actually a dragon, so like I can go with Debris Dragon into him, and I don't have to run crappy Iron Chain Dragon, because Iron Chain Dragon can just make bad things happen because your opponent gets the cards milled and they're like, oh, you just milled some great shit, so I can drop BLS on you. Orient Dragon is just really good. He's a really smart, balanced exclusive, unlike other cards. Then one Ancient Fairy Dragon, because it's good for defense when you don't want to go for a Black Rose Dragon. Plus, this card saves your ass against Gravekeepers. Like, the Gravekeepers hate this. Drop this down, blow up the Necro Valley, gain life points. Like, I forced a warning with Ancient Fairy Dragon against Gravekeepers because Ancient Fairy Dragon ruins Gravekeepers' days. It opens up so many options. Then you got one Black Rose Dragon. It's pretty much staple. Scrap Dragon. Then you got Stardust Dragon, you know. As usual, you get Stardust in here. Then one Trish, because Trish is busted as hell and so easy to make. And then one Shooting Star Dragon. Shooting Star Dragon I don't go for as much as I'd like to, but there's still a lot of times where I've gone for a Shooting Star Dragon and it's just fun. And Enemy Controller makes Shooting Star Dragon really easy to go for, because you get your formula out, and then your opponents, after they got a Stardust out or something, drop the Econ, steal their Stardust, sink into Shooting Star. It just, half the times that I make Shooting Star Dragon, I do by stealing my opponent's Stardust. Like, when I get Quasar, I'm not sure exactly what my extra deck is going to look like. It's going to really depend on what I'm feeling like at the time. But I still sort of want to use Shooting Star Dragon, because he's cool. Plus, I like this one. Anyways, that's the extra deck. Onto the side deck. Got yourself one Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon and two Cyber Dragons. Cyber Dragon is just a great card. Really helps out against Gravekeepers. And then you just side in the Fortress Dragon and side out. So usually I side it out. Well, it would depend on what I was siding out of my main deck, but I'd side something out to put this in there. Just if I thought they were going to side in Machine-type monsters, or they were using Machine-type monsters. Next, double Kaiko the Ghost Destroyer. This card is great this format. Agent Angels hate this card, because you plop this down, Hyperion, BLS, both dead. Because you can't remove cards, your opponent can't remove cards from their graveyards from play when this card's on the field. You smack into them, do damage, banish their fairies, banish fairies, banish fairies. Ruins days, and it lets you control the number of fairies in their graveyard so they can't just drop Christiel on you. Next, I got two DD Crows. Not exactly 100% sold on DD Crow. It has its issues, and it has its moments, but I'm not 100% sure. Next, two Leeching the Lights, because, like, this card, I'm surprised more people didn't think of it at the last YCS. Like, Agent Angels summon huge monsters. Drop this down, steal all their attack points. It's great. Then, double Latent Imprisoning Mirror, because I hate Agent Angel. Double Bottomless Trap Hole against the decks that summon a lot of bigger monsters. Great against Gravekeepers. Great against, to a certain extent, against Agent Angel. Great against Blackwings. Great against Dragunity. Just a good card. And then one of my personal favorites, Double Fiendish Chain. So that's the deck. Next week, I will probably be running Hero Beat. It depends if I can get my Legendary Collection 2s yet. I'll probably have them. So, anyways, Aura 1 through 4, signing out.